Hello and good morning and welcome back to the shed. We've got a big delivery. 32 of them to be precise. Our boiler tubes have turned up. Lauren's getting herself some new pipes. Like I said, there's about 32 of these hollow cylindrical objects. And these are the boiler tubes for our restoration project. Little Lauren. We're going to go over the process of getting these fitted today. You can learn as we learn. We're going to go over prepping these, fitting them up in the engine, and then making them watertight and rolling them out into the tube plates. So yeah, let's get on with it. So these tubes all the way from Germany. These are seamless tubes, no weld on the tube. And they're a boiler grade tube. These ones should be 2.5 inch OD. And 10 gauge on the wall thickness. And that's a 70-inch long tube. So 10 gauges, 130 thou, or 3.4 mil. So the first job we've got to do is we've got to nail these ends. We're going to heat these ends up and get them cleaned off, and then we'll start fitting them into the boiler. So let's figure out how we're going to do that first. Right, so here's what I'm reckoning. If we used to use this handy dandy DSG lathe, get our tube situated. We can get her dialed in within a couple of attempts, and then show it the pepper pot. And then just get these glowing up to a nice cherry red, 900 degrees. And we get these ends of these tubes annealed and softened. The main reason being we want it nice and soft so it's workable, and we can roll it into the boiler plate. So I'm going to get it set up, we'll bring some oxygen over, plumb our torch in, and then start annealing these tubes. We've got a few to do, so it might take a minute. Well, having it in the lathe is going to be a easier setup to get nice even heat. So. We'll get a little bit harder than that. Might slow the speed down. So that works out nice. Just going to do the other side. I might put that one, I'm going to put this one over its cool, and then we'll come back and do this once it's shrunk back. Right, so I'm going to dump this one out of the way and let this cool, and we'll just crack on and do the others. And then we'll come back, flip them round, put it back in, do the other end. So all we're doing with these tubes is just annealing the end. It's just a process of relieving any stresses that have formed in the rolling and forming in the making of this tube. And we're just softening that still, just on the end where we're going to be working it. Where we're going to be basically moulding the end of this tube into the tube plate. We're just softening that up so that we get a good seal. I'm going to set up a time lapse and we'll crack on. So as you can see there, we're now set up for mass production with our patented cable ties. This is working out nice now. It's quite an easy job. It's a bit boring. I should have brought me crayons, and that's not because I'm hungry. I'm just going to crack on and get the rest of these done, and we'll bring you back. Right, 3 hours later, that's that done. So we can remove all this now. Right, so that's all the pipes now annealed. Next step's going to be to clean the end up. So we get rid of our torch rig, and we get set up to sand and clean the ends. So to do this, I'm going to be using the same sort of setup. I'm just going to use a flat disc and a bit of emery cloth and just polish this end up so there's no mill scale, make that bright. So I might speed the lathe up a bit for this. So I might need to get it a little bit more better dialed in. Nip the forge all up as well, I think. Right, speed her up. Let's go. 300. So that should work. So I'm going to hit it with a flat disc first, and then just polish it up with the emery. Clean that up so we get a nice good seal when we expand them into the boiler. A bit more to come off here yet. that should be 30, if I counted them correctly. That should be 8 more than me fingers and toes. So that was a full day's work there of just prepping these tubes. It was a lot more time consuming than I thought it was going to be, but so is everything it seems with this engine. The DSG was a big help. I'll have to get that cleaned off now. Get all the ways and that all cleaned up. Seems we've been grinding around it, but no, she got all them all annealed and all cleaned up. So the next job's going to be, we're going to have to cut them all to length, get the tube plates cleaned up, and start getting on with fitting them. But it's that's enough for me today. So I'm going to bring the bandsaw in now, get the bandsaw set up ready for tomorrow morning, and we can crack on and get all these cut length and get them in the barrel ready for expanding. So